Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Haugh.
And I'm Corinne Foxley. We're here at Beau Rev Equestrian with Tara Swersey from Strider.
So, Tara, tell us a little bit about how Strider got its start and where the inspiration came from.
Well, first, thank you both for having me here today. I'm excited to be here, so thank you. Strider, the story of Strider is actually an interesting story. I was having dinner with a good friend of mine in New York City in the East Village years ago, and she wanted to take me to an Italian restaurant. And if you've ever been to the East Village, the restaurants in the East Village are pretty much like, this was 2004, so it was back in the day, are cash only. You know, you called up, you were like, hey, can I talk to the girl at the front? There was no real open table thing, whatever. And you showed up and you just kind of hoped that they had space for you. So she wanted to take me there. We walk down, we go to it, and it's closed. Like, landlord had pulled the lease, they had run out of money. This place had been there since like eons, off the boat, Italian, whole 9 yards. And she's really upset. So understandably. So we go around the corner, some French bistro, whatever. We have a couple glasses of wine. We start talking about like this, that, and the other. And we're lamenting that her favorite restaurants in New York have closed down. And because it's 2004 and I'd been working in DC, we're talking about like politics and we're talking about this. And, you know, you've got Iraq and Afghanistan. And I was telling her that I thought that the restaurant industry was a lot like the horse industry. Like, you had all these little small businesses in different places, all struggling to kind of make it work. And they were all having a really hard time collecting revenue because all these restaurants were cash only because they couldn't afford the 3% processing. And they were so focused on, you know, serving great food that they weren't doing marketing. Like, they didn't have time to do marketing. They were serving the food, doing the bar stuff, all that sort of stuff. So it was a lot of what I was seeing in the horse world at the time. You know, I was riding nights and weekends. And you had these great trainers and these great venues that just had no time to get the word out, to get all their offerings in front of people. So you sort of got the wheels turning. Fast forward about 10 years, you know, I've been working in international development, international security stuff, and I leave the government to go work for a private equity group. And I get in charge of their technology group. And I was like, I know the tech I want to work on. I was like, it is in the horse world, and I want to figure out a way to make this as sustainable as something like Open Table, so that all these small businesses and all these venues aren't running around trying to do 8 million different things, and that they can afford to operate. Because the profit margins in the horse world are just very, as you both know, like, they're very small.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was basically where it came out of. Was the idea was like, hey, we want to have something that works for the horse world. And it's got to work with the culture of the horse world. Yeah. So, you know, the restaurants want to focus on great food, and they've got a certain personality in their servers and in their chefs and stuff like that. So something like Open Table has to give them that freedom. Well, something in the horse world has to work with, you know, trainers like yourselves, the venues, the riders. It's got to be convenient. Yeah. It's got to be visible, and it's got to have a way of helping you make money and having the riders pay you in a way that works for everybody.
Yeah, so I love that.